Good morning, I'm Sarah Sapsanamma. Let's begin with the headlines of the hour. Government and contractor companies at loggerheads with development projects. Government owing over 1 billion rupees in fines to contractor companies. The committee formed to recommend office bearers at commissions on transitional justice lists 40 potential candidates. The committee to finalize the list by mid-December. South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol apologizes for his unexpected declaration of martial law on Tuesday, clarifies he has no plans for another martial law. And Lumbini Lions playing against Sudur Pashchim Royals in Nepal Premier League in Kantipur. Sudur put to bat first, gives Lumbini a target of 188 runs for victory. The cost of majority development projects have inflated due to disputes between government and contractor companies. There is also a growing trend of companies knocking on court's door and winning 99% of the cases against the government, resulting in over ₹1 billion in fines for the government. The Theo Sharma Wikoi Surya JV company was assigned the construction of 25-kilometer Keshlia Fulchoki road section in Biratnagar along the postal highway. The project was contracted in the Nepalese year 2074-75, some 7 years ago, for ₹1,160 million. The company filed a case at the court saying the government had not provided with required soil and had failed to shift electricity poles on time, impeding in their works. The verdict was handed in favor of the company, and as a result, government was compelled to provide over ₹396.6 million to the company in fines. The tale was similar for Butwal Bilhaya Road, where contractor company Kalika Tamang Pacific JV has demanded for ₹104.5 million from the government. The court once again handed out verdict in favor of the company. The government would be liable to pay an additional ₹18,392 per day from the payment deadline of 2nd of December. The Department of Road is currently working out on the heading in which it will disperse the amount. The court also ordered the government to pay ₹73.1 million to Shield Pacific JV that had been contracted for 31-kilometer road construction in Rolpa's Khorahi Holeri. Some 149 contractor companies have reached the court with similar issues. As 99% of cases have turned in favor of the companies, projects have reached out to the Prime Minister saying the allocated budget cannot sustain the fine amounts. The government and the contractor companies have appointed 1 legal representatives each for mediation works and formed a committee including another independent law practitioner. Companies that do not agree with the committee's decision tend to knock on the court's door. The Ministry of Physical Infrastructure and Transport that received the maximum budget has not been able to properly use its resources. In a little over 4 months of the ongoing fiscal year, the ministry has managed to spend just around 16% of the total budget, which is ₹150 billion allocated for it, which is ₹24.5 billion, and even that amount has been disbursed in pending payments. The capital expenditure has remained lower than 10% so far. CPN-UML leader Devendra Dahal, while assuming the post of Minister for Physical Infrastructure and Transport on mid-July, had announced of tabling the National Infrastructure Policy proposal at the Council of Ministers and it made to the Cabinet as well. However, so far, no significant progress has been made apart from being registered at the Office of the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers.
पोलिसी इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चरको काम अगाडि बढाउनु पर्यो भन्ने कुरा हामी त्यसमा एकदमै बल गरिरहेका छौं। यो के रहेछन् भनेर हामीले 30 वटा जति कार्यविधिदेखि लिएर नियमावलीदेखि लिएर कानुनका कुराहरू चाहिँ हामीले 30 वटा जति हाम्रो पाइपलाइनमा रहेछन्। त्यसको हामीले फाइन्ड आउट गरेर त्यसको हामी तयारी गरिरहेका छौं।
The minister had also formed a committee under the coordination of Joint Secretary Arjun Prasad Aryal to submit a report within 1 month time on stalled projects. Aryal did submit the report within the time frame, but it is yet to be published, let alone implemented.
परिपक्व नभइकन भनेर पनि काम छैन। हामीले अस्ति 1 हप्ता अगाडि पनि त्यसको प्रेजेन्टेसन गरिसकेका छौं। के हामीले सुझाव पनि दिएका छौं। त्यसको अब हाम्रो क्षेत्रीय निर्देशकहरुबाट फिडब्याक लिने अझै त्यसको गरेपछि हामीलाई लाग्छ अब 1 महिना जतिमा हामी त्यसलाई के गर्ने भनेर तपाईहरुलाई भन्न सक्छौं।
The ministry currently has a liability of 3,660 million rupees towards construction companies. This has affected the momentum of development projects.
अब 3 अर्ब 21 करोड बाँकी छ भन्नु न पोहोरको भुक्तानी चाहिँ अबको 1 हप्ता 10 दिनमा हामी सबै सकाउँछौँ.
At present, 2,106 projects are in implementation across the country under the Ministry of Physical Infrastructure and Transport. An equal number of projects or more are awaiting implementation. The ministry is also responsible for 8 of the National Pride projects whose progress has remained dismal. It has struggled to withdraw funds and aids from donor agencies.
कतिपयको चाहिँ नियत बस यो आयोजनाको सन्दर्भमा उत्तरदायी नहुने खालको कुराहरू छ त्यो त मैले ओपनली पनि भनेको छु. त्यस कुरालाई हामी रोक्नुपर्छ भन्ने लाग्छ मलाई.
The Department of Transport, Railway Department and Shipping Office have also failed to produce effective works. They are often also referred to as the government's white elephant, requiring much care and expense and yielding little result. More than 2.2 million service seekers are having to use their payment bills as proof of their licenses. The committee formed to recommend office bearers at the commissions related to transitional justice has enlisted 40 names for recommendations, including 8 for the post of chairperson. The committee has said a final list will be prepared within mid-December. A meeting held at the Ministry of Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs yesterday decided to publish a brief list of potential candidates. The committee has enlisted Achyut Prasad Bhandari, Diliraj Acharya, Mahesh Thapa, Vijay Singh Sijapati and Biswaraj Koirala as potential candidates for the post of chairpersons and the Truth and Reconciliation Commission and the Commission for the Investigation on Enforced Disappeared Persons. The committee has also enlisted Kashiraj Dahal, Sudeep Pathak and Sher Bahadur Kesi for Truth and Reconciliation. Achyut Prasad Bhandari and Vijay Singh Sijapati have also been enlisted as potential candidates for member positions. The committee received 156 applications for office bearers position, of which 40 have been chosen for further consideration. 8 of the 40 have been considered potential candidates for the post of chair. The committee will now call for complaints from anyone who deems those in the list as unfit to serve in the position. 5 days will be allocated to register such complaints. 3 another days will be allocated for candidates to present their plans, after which the committee will finalize the names of chairpersons and 8 members. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission has received almost 63,000 complaints and the Commission for the Investigation on Enforced Disappeared Persons over 3,000. Now, the Commission for the Investigation of Abusive Authority, CIA, has concluded one phase of its works related to wide-body corruption scandal after having conducted 5-year-long investigation on the scam. The special court yesterday convicted 4 individuals for corruption on the scam, as it was proven that 1,470 million rupees had been sent abroad in bribe money through third countries. The special court on Thursday convicted 4 individuals of involvement in the wide-body aircraft scam, where 1,470 million rupees was transacted as bribe money. But now calls are growing for a probe into who the money went to. Nepal Airlines Corporation had procured aircrafts of 230 tons capacity while paying the amount for 242 tons. Sources say firms and companies owned by Nepalese in Dubai and Singapore have transacted the bribe money. They have highlighted on the transaction between AAR International High-Fly Airlines and German Aviation Capital. The biggest amount was transacted from High-Fly X Ireland Company, which was established solely for the aircraft procurement by Nepal Airlines Corporation. The corporation had deposited agreement fees worth $100,000 to High-Fly Airlines' account. 215.388 million rupees was later deposited to the account of German company Norton Bros Fulbright to hold the amount until all clauses of the procurement agreement were met by the buyer and the seller. $2 million of the advance money was transferred from High-Fly X Ireland to German Aviation Capital, Singapore. The corruption abroad was open ajar after evidences were found of money deposited to a company in Dubai that had Nepalese shareholders. Another $600,000 had been transferred from German aviation capital Singapore to another company owned by a Nepali national. The money was reportedly received by family members of the then board members of the corporation. Corruption watchdog CIA now has the responsibility of investigating the recipients of the bribe money worth $4 million, which is equivalent to some 540 million Nepali rupees. It is now time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. The question is, why have the cases of gender-based violence not reduced? Your options are A, traditional mentality, B, weak implementation of laws, and C, lack of awareness. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has described his official visit to China between December 2nd to the 5th as good and fruitful with excellent outcomes as he spoke with Chinese media group in Beijing during his 4-day visit to China at the invitation of Chinese Premier Li Qiang.
High-level visits itself is an achievement itself. We had high-level exchanges with the President Xi Jinping and were very good and fruitful. We reached in conclusion that we signed some 9 about 10 agreements. Right. That is very important under the BRI. BRI is a project which is to share prosperity and to support other countries also who are left behind. It's a good program, very important program, proposed by China. Very many countries are now embraced in this project, and Nepal also is inside this program, the part of this program. So many development projects and others and financial supports agreements were made yesterday. This morning I addressed Fetching University. Yes. So that was another important program, and so far I think this visit's outcome are very excellent, very fruitful.
Time now for international update. South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol has apologized for his unexpected declaration of martial law on Tuesday. President Yoon made his first televised address to the nation today, apologizing for causing unnecessary concern to the people after declaring the shortest ever martial law. He apologized for the decision and pledged that he had no plans to impose another martial law. The president also apologized just hours before Parliament was set to vote on the impeachment motion filed by 6 opposition parties against him. However, he did not give any information about whether he would offer his resignation regarding the martial law he declared. Immediately after the speech, Han Dong-han, chairman of the ruling People's Power Party PPP, said that it is impossible for the president to continue in office despite the apology. Han said that his resignation was inevitable. Yesterday, the ruling People Power Party indicated that it will support the impeachment motion brought against the president in Parliament. The motion registered in Parliament against the president is being scheduled for later today. The opposition parties are only 8 votes short of the 2/3 vote required in Parliament to pass the impeachment motion. With the ruling party also supporting the impeachment, the motion is almost certain to pass. Yoon unexpectedly announced the imposition of martial law in the country at midnight on Tuesday. Within 6 hours of the announcement, he withdrew the declaration after the people in Parliament voted. Rebels in Syria have claimed to have reached the outskirts of the 3rd largest city, Homs. The UK-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, SOHR, has reported that the rebels who are aiming to reach Syrian capital Damascus have reached the outskirts of Homs. It is located in the middle of the highway leading from Aleppo to the capital, Damascus. BBC reported that tens of thousands of residents have fled the city for their lives after signs of complete capture of Homs. After Syrian military lost control of Hama, following days of fighting, it is not clear whether it will be able to defend Homs. The rebels seized Hama to the north on Thursday, a second major blow to President Bashar al-Assad, who lost control of Aleppo last week. As the rebels took control of important cities in Syria, the Russian embassy in the country has issued an appeal to its citizens to leave Syria immediately. The leader of the Islamic militant group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, HTS, Mohammad al-Jalani, has made it clear that their main objective is to overthrow President Assad's regime. Jordan has closed its border with Syria as the armed conflict in the country escalates. Likewise, Israel has strengthened its air and ground forces in the occupied Golan Heights and has warned that it is ready for any situation. The rebel group, which has been quiet since a ceasefire initiated by Turkey and Russia in 2020, has been attacking again since last week. Rebel forces in southern Syria have reportedly captured most of the Dera region. Likewise, US-backed Kurdish forces have claimed to have taken control of eastern Syria city of Deir el-Zor, which borders Iraq. Moving on, a Russian attack on Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia killed at least 10 people and wounded 24 others. Regional officials have confirmed about the attack, which killed at least 10 and wounded 24, including 2 children. The governor of the region said the attack had ignited a fire in a car repair service. Video from the site showed dense flames rising from a destroyed building and burnt-out cars with bodies inside. Separately, a missile-damaged an administrative building in Kryvyi Rih, also in the southeast of the country, killing 2 people. The governor added that rescuers continued searching at the site as 1 person was still missing. Emergency service said that at least 19 others were injured in the attack. Now, the European Union and South America's Mercosur bloc struck an agreement on a long-delayed free trade deal yesterday, which now, however, faces a torturous battle for approval in Europe, where there is stiff opposition from France. After negotiations spanning over 2 decades and 5 years on from an initial deal, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and her Mercosur counterparts announced an agreement had been reached in the Uruguayan capital, Montevideo. This is a win-win agreement, von der Leyen said in a press conference in Montevideo alongside the presidents of the main Mercosur nations, including Argentina and Brazil. Facing strong pushback against the deal from France and EU farmers, von der Leyen had flown in on Thursday ahead of the summit of the bloc, which includes farming powerhouses Brazil and Argentina, as well as Uruguay and Paraguay. France, the most vociferous critic of the deal in the EU, has branded it as unacceptable. The trade agreement would require approval from 15 of the 27 EU members, representing 65% of the EU population, along with a simple majority in the European Parliament. France will welcome more than 35 world leaders today in the beautifully restored Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris as the masterpiece of Gothic architecture reopens its doors to public. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, as well as Britain's Prince William are expected to be among the attendees at today's ceremony. Trump is set to meet Macron on the sidelines of the ceremony at Élysée Presidential Palace in Paris. In the front rows, in fact, of the cathedral, side by side with global leaders, will stand members of Macron's defeated caretaker government, toppled this week by an ad hoc alliance of far-right and left-wing lawmakers. That leaves France, the European Union's sole nuclear power, rudderless, just as Russia is on the offensive in its war against Ukraine, and Europe is struggling to make its voice heard amid Sino-American rivalry. The Kawa Men's Club Volleyball Championship is beginning in Kathmandu today. 2 clubs from Nepal are playing their first matches today. The inaugural match between Help Nepal and India's Calicut Heroes is to kick off at 3 p.m. in National Sports Council Cover Hall in Tripureshwar. Help Nepal is participating in the tournament as the winner of 8th Prime Minister Cup. The team has 3 players from Pakistan. The second match has been scheduled for 5:30 p.m. where Gandaki Province Volleyball Association will play against HDC from Maldives. Gandaki are the runners-up of the Prime Minister Cup. The team boasts 3 players from India. The tournament matches will be broadcast live from Kantipur Max HD in collaboration with Hamro Khelkud. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.